decades of Ansalon, the island of Urgoth has become a refuge for the elven peoples. Here, the haughty Sylvanesti of the east, the friendly Qualinesti of the west, and the wild native Kaganesti dwell in fragile, uneasy peace. This peace is shattered by the arrival of your band of adventurers, bearing the shards of the DragonLance and the power of the Dragon Orb of Icewall. Will the pitfalls of conflicting elven nations ensnare you? Can you escape across the wilds of Urgoth to the outpost of the Solamnic Knights, evading the wild elves in your path? Will you discover the secret of Huma's tomb and find the final resting place of the Dragonlances of old? Welcome to the world of Kryn and the legendary DragonLance.
I just like, no, I can't.
And with that, we are live. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and others to to Atomic Peanut Butter presents DragonLance: Dragons of Light, Part 3. That's right. We've changed our name here on Twitch. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you haven't noticed a goddamn thing. If you're listening on podcast at DragonLance Chronicles, then you wonder why we're talking about these things anyway, because all you want to do is just listen to it on your commute or whatever the fuck you're doing. It's none of my business. It's Gary's. Gary really is the one who wants to know.
Yeah.
But, and if you're watching us on Facebook, you're saying, I don't even know what Facebook page this is because it says Wicked Studios, but I have to type in Giant Stomp to get there. And now you're talking about Atomic Peanut Butter Group. It doesn't make any sense because we are great at branding, guys. But anyway, this is formerly the Wicked Studios. I almost said Atomic Peanut Butter. Great, I'm great at this. This is formerly the Wicked Studios LLC channel. Now it's Atomic Peanut Butter Group. What does that mean? Two things. Jack and shit. Because it's the same stuff that you were getting before. It's just a different name because YouTube and Twitch, if you'd both like to be sponsors, we'd love you both. We want it to be consistent. I'm Adam. I'm your dungeon master for tonight's festivities. Let's introduce the rest of the gang. Why don't we do that? Let's start with the fact that Will.Player, I even said player because he's not a playa. I actually said it by mistake, but I'm course correcting. He's not here again. Why? Because, as I was saying to Gary earlier, this is just like high school all over again. Will gets a girlfriend and now can never play. Like, it's fucking bullshit, is really what it is. Will, if you ever listen to this, your girlfriend's coming between. She's like the Yoko Ono of this stream. And it's sad for the rest of us.
You know, I've heard Yoko Ono is just misunderstood, so...
I'll tell you what, I was listening to Double Fantasy, the Double Fantasy album, because I hadn't listened to that since I was in college, probably. And I thought, I'm going to give this another try. They should have called it Single Fantasy and cut out all of the Yoko stuff, because her stuff, the first song, it almost works, but it's just, they're all torture to listen to. The John Lennon stuff, kind of hit or miss. There's some great songs and some not so great songs. But again, it's John Lennon, so everything is listenable. The Yoko stuff is tough. It's tough to get through. It's much easier when you're streaming it and you can just click next on Amazon Music, I guess I listen to it on. If you'd like to be a sponsor, we'd love to have you. Hey, Bromenard. And hey, Captain Mymar, did you guys fire Will? Not yet, but we're getting there. I'm getting real close. And if he's not here next week, then he's fucking out the door, man. I'm gonna keep that picture of him up though because I think it's hysterical.
You need
Of
to
course, yeah.
like properly. And there's a process. You need to do a verbal and a written,
Yeah.
and like 2 or 3 writtens. And
The Atomic Peanut Butter Group HR department is really hardcore. They make you dot every I and cross every T. We don't fool around here. Anyway, let's introduce the players who could bother to be here tonight. The least they could do is just show up. Let's start with Kemchan. Oh, I have Kemchan and Michael mixed up in the thing here too.
You know, I could have been golfing right now.
You could have been, and you're welcome that you're not. So why don't we start with you, Michael?
Hey, I'm Michael, and I'm playing Cyril, a cobbler in this game tonight.
I'm just gonna let you keep going and just riff, man. Just see what comes out. While I'm fixing the overlays,
Cyril's 2 fists are hope and prayers, and he's gonna bring you some hope and prayers.
Is that really? Does he really have names for them?
That's the names of his weapons. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? You did say that.
Are they tattooed on his knuckles? Hope and PRYS or something?
Yeah.
He's like a professional wrestler. Let's move on to Gaz.
Hi, I'm Gaz, and I am playing Kurlithlon, the half-elf rogue scout.
And
I
Gaz,
don't really remember much of anything that's happened. It's been 6 weeks since we played.
you were unconscious for half the time anyway, but I have quite the extensive previously on. Don't worry. Gaz, why don't you tell folks what happens here on Fridays when either 1, we're not playing this, or 2, we're not playing nothing. Or not playing
Well,
anything?
that encompasses most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, the when we're not playing anything.
That's what it was.
That would
Yes.
be
Because
most of the
otherwise,
time.
yes. Otherwise, that would be good if we were not playing nothing. That means we were playing everything.
Occasionally, though, we also play Eberron, where I DM our Morgrave Mythos campaign.
Yeah.
With Adam, Kemchan, Jeremy, and Will be joining us, I believe, soon.
Yeah, you believe, because there's no telling.
I
Now that he
believe.
has a girlfriend, who can tell? They're probably like sitting in the park looking at the stars right now and just like, being cute and whispering sweet nothing in each other's ears. And it
They're
sickens me!
behind
I hope so.
They're actually under the bleachers. You know.
That's much better. That's much better. And last but not least, Kemchan. Are you muted? Wow, we saved you for last, and this is what you get. Oh.
He's letting you really enjoy the moment.
He's taking up mime.
All right, can you hear me now?
We got you now. You're a little quiet.
Yeah.
All right.
That's much better.
Okay. So, I don't know what game I'm playing here.
This is
Like four of
Dragonlance.
them. Dragonlance. got
I
it.
thought it was gonna be Cthulhu.
Isn't it Cthulhu? No. All right. So, Dragonlance. I'm playing Jadek, our Minotaur pirate captain without a ship, landlocked, and loving it.
So he's got a T-shirt that says that and everything.
Exactly.
He got it at the gift shop in Southern Urgoth. Before we get started, we have a drawing. We still do this, guys, because
Still
we're the
drive our listeners.
because we love the 2 of you that are chat right now, or 7. I don't know how many it is. So if you wait, hold on. I should probably start the giveaway. We have a $10 gift certificate to Drive Through RPG and/or DM's Guild, which, by the way, is now part of Roll20 or will be soon. Do you guys hear about that? That's like some sort of connection. I didn't really read the article. I just saw the headline, but it's pretty great.
Yeah, they got something
Yeah,
going
you'll
on.
be able to buy stuff on DMs or on Roll20 or on DM's Guild and use it on Roll20.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So it'll like link right into it. You know, we won't have to do like uploads, downloads. It'll just like go right over to it.
Now, since I've already
article read.
purchased the Dragonlance modules, TM, on there, can I use them or do I have to buy something new? Do you know?
I would imagine you have to buy something that would,
God
cut
damn it.
across. But
Anyway,
unless
It'd be nice if it was retroactive. But
unless whoever you bought it from, publish some Roll20 stuff, I suppose it would work. But
anyway, as an affiliate, we're really happy for this news, and we're looking for great things. But anyway, you can check out Will's stuff. I don't know if that'll work on there, but Will's got some stuff. Maybe you can play on there. But don't, you know what? Don't do that because he never even bothered to show up for this fucking game. So screw him, right? That's what I say.
check out my stuff.
Check out Michael's stuff. Michael, I
There you go.
You know what? Michael, why don't you promote some of your stuff? Because I forgot about your stuff. Sorry.
I only got like 5 or 6 things. So.
That's pretty. That's more than Will has. And I'm plugging his shit. What do you got? Give us one thing to look up.
The Frigid Zombies is the latest
Frigid
one.
Zombies.
And you've actually played that one.
have.
You just didn't know it really,
I
but
have.
yet
They
you did
suck
play it.
as a player. I should have used those. I totally forgot about those. I should have used those when we were at Ice Wall.
Yeah.
That would have been much. Damn it, missed opportunity. Anyway, so type in !drawing in the chat, and you can win a $10 gift certificate. We will do 2 tonight. We will do 1 in the first half of the game, and then 1 after intermission. Now, remember, you got to watch the stream, guys. If you're not here when we pick the winner, we're going to keep picking until somebody is here. Why, you ask? That was your cue. Why? You say, why? Thank you, Kim Chen. All right, that was just very sad, Jerry. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe you cared. I still don't. And that laugh makes me believe it even less. You have to watch the stream to win the cash! Is the answer you guys were also curious to know about.
Got it.
So anyway, type it in there. And you got a great opportunity to win because there's like 10 people on chat right now. Now there's 9.
You scared one away. You're like, I don't need $10 as bad, thanks.
No, $10 ain't worth this, I can tell you that. All right, let's get down to business. Antecedently on Dragonlance. And it's been like 6 weeks since we played, so it's a little bit long just to get everybody up in the know. Is that a phrase? Up in the know? It is now, baby. Captain Jadok, Kurlithlan, Flint, Lorana, Gilthanitz, Knights of Solamnia, Sirs Alphatian Malkorite, his liege lord Derek Crownguard, and newly knighted Kender, Tasselhoff, Burfoot, along with their newest companion, the Ice Folk Cobbler, Sir Earl, who sounds like he's a knight, because he's got the S in front of his name. Have been sailing across the Syrian Sea to the Straits of Algoni, fleeing Abanansinia. Boom. Boom. That was the only time I've said that. I don't know if it's right, but the only time I've said it without stumbling over it in my life since I first got these modules, like I know when I was 14 or 15 years old. From the White Dragon armies after killing Dragon High Lord Dr. Fealthas and taking the Dragon Orb, and then heading towards southern Urgoth on their way to the island of Sancrist, where there was supposed to be a council of knights and others who are working on a plan to defeat the Dragon armies in a pre-cataclysm ship named the Wind Rider. That was poorly written, I gotta say. Sorry, guys. The ship, while taking on some water in the rough seas, made good time and held together under the command of its Minotaur captain. During the journey, Sirs Alphatian and Derek decided to see if they could figure out how to work the Dragon Orb and destroy the evil dragons. Alphatian volunteered to try it as he felt that Derek was too valuable to lose. True is the answer to that. And Alphatian is... Will doesn't even play, so we're not even gonna... He just dies of a heart attack. The end. End of Alphatian's story. But Alphatian could... not only could Alphatian not master the ancient magical item, simply trying aged him 15 years. So now he's like as old as Will, which is super old, guys. Before Derek could pry the orb from his cold, dead hands. I added that last part just because I'm imagining it in my mind and it makes me happy. While this was happening, Flint and Curlithlon had a heart-to-heart about Curlithlon and Zarek's falling out over Curly's affair with Kitiara almost 6 years ago as they traveled north to Solamnia together in search of knowledge of their individual families and in search of the true gods, of course. Flint spoke of his regrets in not letting his quote-unquote kids split up all those years ago, feeling like if he had kept the group together, they would still be together today. Curlithlon assured him that Flint did nothing wrong, and that they both expressed hope that one day the 7 original companions, I think there's 5, but I wrote 7 and I didn't change it. Bless you. Would find their way back together again. That was a moving conversation, guys. That was good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Curlithlon also noted that if they didn't go their separate ways those years ago to find both the true gods and themselves, then they may not have found themselves in a position to help save Ansalon. Which is a really good point. The next morning, the white dragon Sleet, who escaped death at the hands of the companions a week prior, attacked the Wind Rider with 2 younger white dragons. Yeah, that was a shit show, guys, wasn't it? After a total beatdown by the dragons, in which the PCs were lucky to survive, but Gilthanas, not so much. He dead. They washed up on the shores of southern Urgoth, where they encountered a Sylvanesti hunting party, along with their Kaganesti servants, quote-unquote, led by the delightful Lady Marathanos. And Sir Earl really got along well with Lady Marathanos.
Oh yeah, they're like, you know, you gotta go on a date later.
Yeah, really nice stuff. Who promptly had them arrested for, you know, just being there, really. Plus, there was a lot of humans and a Minotaur. And a half-elf, so these are Sylvanesti elves. They are not super inclusive, frankly. During this time, one of their Kaganesti servants, named Silvara, healed the unconscious Curlithlon and Lorana using some new kind of healing magic that the group had not seen before. She and Sir Earl had a bit of a connection, too. Just throwing that out there, Michael.
That was a more real connection. But...
maybe a will they, won't they scenario. Only time will tell. As they were led to the Silvamori, the new home of the Sylvanesti elves on southern Urgoth, a group of Qualinesti fighters rescued them and brought them to their home. Qualamori... I did not say that right at all. I was looking at 2 other things and then realized that comma didn't mean that. Let me try that again. Take 2. As they were led to Silvamori, Qualinesti fighters rescued them and brought them to their home Qualamori, where Lorana learned of Gil's death. Take 3, all right. The group was taken to the Speaker of the Suns, who didn't look so hot, causing Curly concern as the elves age very slowly and don't change that much quickly. With the speaker was his son Porthios, Zane and Zarek's mama, Lady Okara, and Theros Ironfeld, the former blacksmith from Solace, now with a shiny new silver arm. Last time you saw him, he was armless and half dead. Now look at him. Really made something of himself here with the elves.
I wouldn't say he's armless.
He was armless.
Okay.
He's maybe not harmless. He still had one good arm.
Yes.
And two legs that can do some kicking. He's like a like a donkey, mule. He'll just rear back and kick you. It's weird the way he does it, actually, but it works. It's effective. The group then was taken to a cabin where they could clean up and rest up before a feast held in their honor. Although it is worth reminding you guys that there are 2 guards posted outside the door. So anyway, you guys got benefits of a short rest. It's been about 2.5, 3 hours. So you can feel free to use any hit die that you want if you want to. You don't need to. You were able to to clean up, wash off. There were some elven clothes there that are never gonna fit Jadok. But the rest of you could probably fit into easily enough if you
How, do
wanted
we,
to change.
how many hit points do we get back on a short rest again?
It's you can use your hit die. So if you just roll your hit die as many times as
right.
you have levels, I have what you level 10 now, I think.
Yeah.
So you can roll like a 10-sided die 10 times, and then get your up to 10 times, and then have your Constitution bonus added to it.
Right. Okay.
And on Roll20, if you'd like to be a sponsor, we'd love to have you. If you click on where it says hit dice, it'll do it automatically for you.
Good day. All right.
Those are some good rolls there. So as you're doing that, just a reminder of your surroundings. You are in a circular hut. It's about 20 feet high. In the center of the domed structure is an opening about 3.5, 4 feet wide, square, I guess. So the same on every side. So that's to let the fire, the smoke from the fire out, so you don't suffocate and die, which is nice of them. The elves thought of everything, really. Well, they at least thought of that, how not to kill people who lived in their huts. There are beds, there are some chairs, a table, wash basin, and there's some water and fruits and berries and things like that. If you need it. And I'll turn the music up a bit. So you were all there except for Lorana. If you remember, Lorana was taken by Portheos to be with the family, quote unquote. Although you do remember that, and if you don't, I'm reminding you, that Lorana was kind of shunned by everybody except for and I don't know if we gave him a name, but the elf that originally found you guys, the leader of the hunting party, although they were hunting Sylvanesty, unlike the Sylvanesty hunting party, which were hunting game. And even Solistrin, the Speaker of the Suns and Lorana's father, didn't acknowledge her at all during the brief time that you met. So is there anything you guys want to do or talk about before there's a knock on the door and they lead you to the feast?
No, I relax and clean up and do all the things like that, so that it's as presentable as possible in the presence of these elves.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to eat some of the food.
Okay. So you get cleaned up. Are you wearing armor? You don't have your yeah, you do have your weapons. These guys didn't take your weapons. Are you bringing your weapons? Are you bringing your armor? Or are you just going casually?
I keep my brass knuckles in my pocket. But...
Yeah, because you never know when you want to sucker punch an elf.
Considering the way that they brought us in here, I'm going to continue to wear my armor and keep my weapons with me.
Okay.
Jadek's going to clean himself up as best he can and kind of put on all the jewelry he's gathered because he's really gotten into
you got rings for days.
Rings on rings.
You need more fingers, baby.
And make himself look nice and presentable since he realizes that he's not liked or trusted by these people, by these elves. So, yeah, he's gonna put on his nice cloak.
Put on a little show.
Put on a little show, but he will keep his scimitar.
Okay.
With him because it looks good. He's a pirate captain, so he's looking the part.
Yeah, and the knights are, still have their armor on, polished. They've been spending time polishing and, their armor and their weapons. And nothing really to sharpen them with because all of your packs, keep in mind, were lost on the ship as well. So you don't have any other inventory other than your weapons. I assume you leave the shaft of the Dragonlance. Shut your mouth. I said shaft on the back in the back in the cabin, or do you bring that with you as well? Is that a Bloody Mary?
That's a Michelada.
Oh, now I'm in the mood for a Bloody Mary, though. I don't know what that is, but Gary and his entire family make delicious Bloody Marys. I'm gonna tell you, the whole Sandland clan, great Bloody Mary makers. Now, what is that?
Especially,
what is that?
Tilly.
Michelada is like a Bloody Mary made with beer.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I have
It's a little lighter.
Michael, what?
I was just gonna say I have had a belt pouch where I kept all of my cobbler's tools, so that would actually be with me too.
Sure. Yeah. Anything that you would have on your belt and on your body. And like I said, we're kind of cheating, and you had all your weapons on you. You didn't have the Dragonlance shaft, but Jadek went down below decks before the boat sank and got that. But yeah, just any equipment that would have been in your packs that you wouldn't have just had on deck with you. Anything that you feasibly would have had on deck with you, absolutely, you guys still have. The elven guards knock on the door and say through the door, "May we come in?"
Of course, of course.
All right, you hear the door unlocking. The door opens. One steps in. The other stays outside. They both have long swords and bows. However, they are sheathed and stored on their backs. They are not visibly threatening of any kind, but they are, they do have weapons. There's only two of them. And the one who steps inside says, "If you are ready, the Speaker of the Suns has prepared the feast, and the feast is ready for you."
Oh, I could definitely eat. Let's go do that.
Nice. Yeah. Jadek's like, yes, food. Let's do this.
And roll me a perception check, Jadek. It's a really low DC because you're a Minotaur and these are elves. You guys got some great rolls for your hit dice, by the way. I'm just looking over at the screen.
Yeah.
All of you just were... It was amazing.
10 of perception.
That's all you needed. You actually needed less than that. You needed 5. You can tell, like, when you say that, they tried to hide it because these are royal guards, but there is a look of disdain and disgust on their faces.
Sure. Nothing
They
he hasn't
seem-
seen before.
Do they seem dangerous though? I have danger sense.
You feel like they could be if you were to get into a fight with them. However, you don't sense that they are going to do anything to you now. But if you got into a scrape with them, these look like they are, just by the way the weapons that they have, the way that they carry themselves. These are experienced fighters, and they are probably, you also would just imagine, all of you really, those of you who know elves and not, that these probably, because they are Royal Guard, are probably the best of the best. So there is that level of danger where you feel like if you made a move that they found threatening, that they could absolutely, without hesitation, attack. And they all are also on edge a bit as well. None of them are super comfortable with humans, Minotaur. Certainly Kender probably is the most concerning for them in the group. And even half-elves, a little bit less animosity toward you, but still not fully accepted here. Much more so than this, the Sylvan elves would probably be, but Qual and Esti are a little bit more open to all the races, including half elves, but still just not super comfortable with you guys being here, especially with everything that's going on. That's kind of what what you all sense. Yeah, but Michael, you feel like if shit goes down, these guys could be trouble. All right, they lead you, again, it's only about a 15-20 minute walk back toward the... I hesitate to call it a castle because it's more of just a structure, but the grounds behind the structure in which the Speaker of the Suns, Solistrin Kanan, makes his home. And it is a beautiful evening, although cool, because it is still winter, although it's mild temperatures. There are tents set up. There are fires, throughout. So the tents kind of keep the heat in a bit. They are not covered on all sides, but there is fabric on some walls spaced throughout. However, there are plenty of openings too. So again, people don't die of carbon monoxide poisoning while eating their fancy meal. The dinner looks amazing. There's game, there are vegetables, there's fish, it is there are breads, and a lot of just elven delicacies that Curlithlon, you would notice, because you spent at least a short amount of time in Qualinesti, that they must have brought probably some of these, elven sweets and delicacies with them on the, on their trip, and the ones that could keep anyway, since it's been about 3 months or so, 3.5 months since you were there, and there are spaces, open seats set up for you at the end of the table, in the center of the table, of course, similar to how they were set up before. You have in the center, you have Solistrin, the Speaker of the Suns. To his right is his son Porthios. To his left is Lady Okara, and to her left still is Theros, which is interesting because he seems to be held in very high regard, especially considering that he is a human and is the only, besides you all, the only non-full-blooded elf here at dinner. At the table that you're at, because you're at the same table as they are, there are some other clearly noble people. Totally at the table, there's probably 20 people at this table. Throughout the grounds, there are probably 15 other tables spread out, where there are, again, 20 people, per table, men, women, children. And there are Kaganesti who are serving drinks and picking up dishes after they're soiled and things like that. And the guard motions for you to where your seats are, and where to sit. And you were at the opposite end of the table from Solistrin, just off to the side a bit. But again, you got 10 people on either side, so none of you are super far away, and you could certainly talk. You're on the left-hand side of the table. Well, to your right, their left, so stage right. So you're on the same side as Theros and Lady Okara. So from the... Yeah, I mean, there's probably... We'll say the Knights and Tasselhoff are at the end, because they're not going to be speaking in this part of the story. So, you basically have whoever is on the innermost seat toward the center of the table would be sitting directly across from Lady Okara, and then Solistrin would be sitting in the next seat over that. And then, so you got in front of one of you, Lady Okara, in front of the next one, Theros, and then other dignitaries on the other seats to their left.
Well, I would want to sit, as close as I can to Theros, considering that I know him from
Sure.
Solace.
Yeah.
And I want to, find out what's up with this shiny new arm and how he got, to where he is from Solace.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're greeted, and Solistrin still, he's very quiet during this thing. Still looks very drawn. His pallor is very gray. Friendly to you, but very quiet. And Lady Okara, as you sit down, she excuses herself and says that there's state business to attend to, but she will be back. And gets up and leaves for a bit, so there is an open chair there. I figure you're sort of sitting on the end, Kurlithlan, so you would be directly in front of, or opposite, I should say, of Lady Okara, and then next to, sort of diagonally to Theros, since they would probably put the closest thing to an elf closest to the speaker of the Suns. So Theros says, "First, before I get into my tale, it's good to see you, Kurlithlan, and you too, Flint, who I assume is just sitting next to you, and we'll make it easy. And then who wants to sit next to Flint, and then we'll go."
I'll sit by Flint.
All right, and then Jadek, okay, and then the knights,
Right.
and then it's Tasselhoff they have at the end, but Tasselhoff, if anybody looks over, is never at the seat.
He's always in a different place whenever you see him.
Yes, and he introduces himself to the others, and I say,
What was his name again?
Theros Ironfeld. He introduces himself as, and he says, "I was the blacksmith in Solace before the Red Dragon armies destroyed the town. Little backstory for the viewers and for Michael. I worked with Gilthanis and the other Qualinesti elves in their effort to try to find help as the dragon armies approached, and then to hide them and get them out of Solace as the dragon armies approached. Many died, some survived. Most of us were captured," and he gestures to himself and then out to Flint and Kurlithlan. "And we were rescued by the Qualinesti elves. I was left for dead, my arm sheared off." You know what? I'll actually just read this text because it's saying this probably even more succinctly than I can. "As you remember, my friends," and a little story to tell for those of you who don't know me, which is most of you, "I struck out against the dragon men once, at the cost of my arm. Gilthanis's people," and he gestures toward the Qualinesti as a whole, "were good enough to take me in, feeling that a one-armed smith could at least be of some use in their exile. And because of what I did for Gilthanis and for their people, they trusted me, and they felt they owed me a debt. I accompanied the Qualinesti to the edge of the channel, where we built boats to cross, crude ships that now rot on the beaches. At that time, I was far afield, searching for ore to forge bolts and fasteners. What I found was a ruined place, a temple, toppled by the cataclysm and overgrown with ivy. Thinking to salvage weapons or armor, I went in. What I found was this silver arm," and he sort of taps on it, and he just hear clink, clink, clink as he does. It was in a small alcove, bare, as if it was a shrine. I picked it up, thinking it part of a suit of armor, but found it solid. In a bit of whimsy, I guess, I placed it against the stump of my arm, and it bonded tight. I could move it as if it were my own. It was the strangest thing. It was then that I heard a deathly howl and saw this hell beast with green glowing eyes. I ran, feeling it hot behind me, and did not stop until I reached the beach. Portheos was amazed at my discovery, more so because it could not be removed. We searched for the temple briefly, but found nothing. Then we sailed, landing here 7 days later in leaky ships. We found the Sylvanesti here already, haughty, proud elves who seem a little too cool for my taste. Still, they allow me to walk through their lands, as do the wild ones, the Kaganesti, and he gestures toward Silvara and, of course, the servants there. This arm has been an aid. It is as natural as my own, and I can hammer from dawn till dusk without resting. It seems to know what I need to make. One thing that bothers me, though. I've been asked to make, and he says this in a little bit more hushed tones, and a little bit more confidently now that Lady Okara is gone, but not necessarily wanting Solistrin, who's not really paying attention to hear. One thing that bothers me, though. I've been asked to make a lot of weapons. I'm afraid the elves aren't getting along too well, and it'll soon be coming to a head. I really would rather not be here when it does. Now tell me, what happened to you? I know you left with others. There was Lorana. No, Lorana didn't leave with you. Lorana did leave with you since he saw you last, actually, because he was in Qualinesti.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Lorana Gilthanis, of course, and Zane and Zarek. Anybody else? Oh, then there was those...
Flint's just shaking his head.
Yeah, there was, what was it, Swiftwind? What was his name?
Yeah.
And Gold Moon?
Silver Fox.
Silver Fox. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of lost everybody along the way.
What do you mean by lost? Not dead, are they?
Well, Gilthanis is, unfortunately.
I heard. And
And
he looks very sad by that.
But the others, so many things happened in the last few months. And one by one, our group just sort of came apart at the seams. And the last, really, that our group was together at all was, what was the name of that city?
Tarsus.
Tarsus.
Tarsus was really the last that we were a group.
So you made it to Tarsus then. The White Wing ships, were they just as glorious as the tales foretold?
And at that, Jadek kind of chokes on his drink. He's like, excuse me. He doesn't want to, like, interrupt, but at the same time, he's just like,
Landlocked!
Because it was dealing
Tarsus
with those ships that killed his crew, so it's still a sore spot for him.
Well, he hadn't even gotten to those ships. You got to ships outside before then. These are the famed white-winged ships of Tarsus, which was then landlocked after the Cataclysm.
That's right. Right. I'm thinking of
yeah, you got attacked by the dragon armies in the
That's
port.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, Tarsus was not really what you would think.
Well, not much is in this world anymore, is it?
No, it isn't.
Tell me, how bad is it on Ansalon? Have the dragon armies, have they taken everything?
There are those who resist, but they've beating us down at every turn. We've been on the run from the dragon armies pretty much everywhere, and trying to stay a step ahead of them and track down these dragon lances and dragon orbs to try to consolidate some of this power to fight them.
I've heard of tales of the Dragonlances. I mean, those are stories every child in Kryn has heard, but Dragon Orb...
They're real.
They're real. Well, I suppose...
They're real.
Dragons are real? Why not the Dragonlances? Now, what are these dragon orbs you speak of?
Very powerful magic items. Wait, so we do still have one?
Yeah.
Or did
The
it
Knights...
sink?
Yeah, Alphatian has it right now.
Yeah. We have one with us, and in a somewhat stupid idea, one of the knights of Salamnia here who have them tried to use it. I sort of gesture over to Alphatian. He was about 20 years younger a few days ago.
He complains about his knees aching. He's basically Adam at this point. And he says, huh, interesting. Any idea what these things can do?
And Flint's like, well, we know what happens when you don't know what you're doing.
Theros laughs and takes his mug of it's elven ale, so it's a little weak. It's like Amstel Light, but it sort of clinks mugs with Flint, and laughs at that. And
then Flint leans in. And he goes, "We also have what could be a Dragonlance.
Yeah,
we need a good blacksmith." And it just like stares at him.
And he says, "Really?" Flint would also tell him the story that you guys have learned, that he'll give the quick version of the Hammer of Karas and the silver armed smith.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Theros has got a nice bushy, like black bushy beard, little gray in there, and he sort of strokes it a little bit and says, "I might just happen to know a silver-armed smith," and then winks at you guys, and he says, "Although I don't know about this hammer, but maybe later tomorrow I could take a look at that and see what we can figure out. I've certainly heard the tales, but we need also, you guys know that you need a silver ore in order to make these, which that you don't have, but that should be easy enough to find, you would think, at some point, as long as you're not held captive by elves or dead." And then he looks at the others and says, "Now, how did they meet you fine folk?"
Who, me? I'm just a simple cobbler. I'm just a simple worker who happened to be along and found some people in need of some help against a dragon. So I pitched in the best I could. My sister and she went back home.
Huh. With arms, shoulders, and a chest like you, I doubt you're just a simpler cobbler, huh?
Well, I've been in a scrape or two, but...
And then he looks over at Jadek and he says, "Now you're an interesting one. Never thought I'd see a Minotaur sitting at a table with the Speaker of the Suns."
And Jadek was in the middle of drinking, as usual, and he kind of side-eyes him, and he's like, "Well, this Minotaur never expected to be on land as long as I have been." And he's like, "I have my ship out there somewhere, and the people I came on land with are gone, and I am now mixed up with this lot." And he kind of looks at everybody. and here I am on the same quest as everybody else.
Well,
And it just goes right back into like, as it all kind of hits him like in a whirlwind in his head. He's just like,
Oh, yes!
look at that.
and he says, "Well, I could tell you with these two," and he points at Curlithlon and Flint.
Hi, you still down
"You're in
here?
good company." And then he says, "And Knights of Solamnia, well, rumor had it that they were in disarray and fallen on hard times, but those two, they look like they could fight. But a Kender?"
And at which point everybody starts looking for him.
Yeah,
I had one with us. So.
you hear like a woman screaming in the background, "My pearls!" And then you hear a small voice, "Oh, here, I'm sorry. Are these yours? You must have dropped them into my pouch."
I think at which point at that point one of the knights would just walk over to him and start usher him back to the table and sit him down.
It's going to take 2 nights to usher him back to the table in this environment, but
You need to stay here.
I think, did Alphasian take manacles with him from the ice? If he did, he's going to try to manacle him. But of course, Tasselhoff in a few minutes will be out of it and wandering around again, regardless. But that's basically what they're doing. And at this point, Lady Okara comes back, sits down. She looks concerned. Although she kind of always has that look, right? She's one of those people. You get what I'm saying? Picking up what I'm putting down. And not a fun-loving gal. But she has an air of authority to her. And you notice, too, as she, makes her way through the crowd over to you, similar to Porthios, who would be next in line to be the Speaker of the Suns, the deferential treatment that he is that he gets from the people, she gets pretty much the same. She is held in very high regard with these elves, and she sits back down, and she says to you, Curlithlon, in particular, but she will acknowledge the others. We didn't have much time to talk the last time we met. But I know that you were friends with my sons. Where are they?
That's complicated.
Much in this world is.
Zane. So wait, I haven't seen Zane since Tarsus, right?
Yes, Zane could either, one, have been burned alive in the Inn of the Red Dragon, or have escaped on the back of griffins. You have no idea which. But those in that area, those are the two things you saw.
Yes. There was trouble in Tarsus, and we became separated from Zane then. And Zarek and I were still together. But after finding Xander, Lord Xander?
Yeah.
Is it Lord? Yeah, Lord Xander.
She stops you there with a look. And okay, maybe I should. You found my husband.
Yes.
Where?
He was being held by the dragons, by the dragon army.
But where?
In the ice.
Huh. Continue. Please.
One of the dragon high lords had taken him prisoner, Dr. Fielthas. And though we defeated him, we lost Zarek and Xander. There, we were again separated, and that's really the best I can say of what happened to them. The last I saw Zarek was was Ice Wall.
Yeah.
Was at Ice Wall. That was only like what, a week ago now.
It was, yeah, about it was. I think this is day 7 since you left. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just a week ago.
Thank you for that information. And she says, "Excuse me for a moment." Turns around and there's a Qualinesti servant, like her administrative assistant, you imagine, behind her, and she whispers something to her in Elvish. If you want to make out what it is, roll me a perception check.
Sure.
28, yeah. You hear every fucking word of it. You could read her lips on top of it. I mean, there was no. You got like the closed captions running below.
Can Jadek do the same thing?
Do you
Can
speak
he roll?
Elvish? Yeah, you speak Elvish. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
15? Yeah.
15?
You don't get every word because again, you're new to Elvish and
Right.
and she's being
But I get
quiet.
enough.
But yeah, you can hear certainly enough. Like I said, Curlithon hears every word. She whispers, "Send a contingent to Icewall. Find my son and husband. Only the best." And the servant nods and scurries off. As you guys are, is there anything else you want to say to her or to anybody else at the table? And of course, Theros has been, inquiring about the adventures you've had. He's been talking to the knights as well, and learning their story, which we're not going to recap here since they're not here.
Yeah.
So there is obviously other conversation going on as throughout of this evening. But is there anything else specifically you want to ask at this moment?
Nothing.
I don't think so.
Okay. You notice as the evening goes on, Lady O'Cara is kind of in and out. She keeps getting up to have to deal with quote unquote state business, and then returning and finishing, talking to other elves throughout the evening, as she's coming and going. Curlithlon in particular, you notice Solistrin kind of looking like he's like fallen asleep at the table, right? I mean, he's like your great grandfather at Thanksgiving dinner, and Porthios has gotten up to talk to somebody. He's currently not sitting there, but he's been there most of the night. And again, Solistrin has been very cordial throughout the evening, although quiet. And then at this point, he sort of rocks a little bit on his chair and falls to the ground, knocking over Porthios's chair as he does.
So he's across the table from me?
Yes. Like sort of diagonally across. He would be in the next, like the person sitting next to you is across from him.
Okay, yeah. I immediately stand up and look at, does he look like he is all right? Unconscious?
He looks like he's unconscious. Of
having a
course,
seizure?
yeah. Of course, others, rush over as well. The elves. He has a contingent of aides that are, nearby at all times. And, one yells out, "He's not breathing."
Uh-oh.
Where is Silvara?
Silvara is sitting at the very end of the table.
Okay.
I will escort her over there.
Okay, and she will
Meaning
go.
I will shove anybody out of the way who doesn't move on their own.
Sure, and you do. You have to. There's definitely people you got to, because there's like a crowd of people now. You got to get around the table.
I don't care what their class is, what their station in life
Sure.
is. They find themselves on the floor. I really don't care.
And she'll say in Elvish, I'm just trying to help. She will take out her little medicine bag that she has, use that poultice that she had used on Kurlithlan and Lorana. Lorana, by the way, is not at the table, and you haven't seen her at the feast. And she looks up at you, Cyril, and this is only the second time she's actually looked directly at you. The first was when you mentioned the healing that your sister could do, and when you were talking. Oh no, actually, you didn't mention the sister. You mentioned that that it was that she should be proud of her skills in being able to heal. This is the second time. Mostly, she's very shy and nervous, and sort of looks down at the floor while she's talking to you, and she has tears in her eyes, and she says, I can't help him.
Why not?
He's gone.
Deceased.
Yes.
Do we know why?
No, and Porthios runs
tell
over. Porthios runs over, yelling, "The feast ends now! Everyone go back to their cabins!" And
In a minute, what happened to this man?
I don't know. And then he...
Well, would it make sense to have everybody leave if you don't know? Wouldn't it make more sense to keep them here where you keep an eye on them? What if one of them's a poisoner? You're telling them to leave? That makes no sense to me. But I'm a simple cobbler.
No.
I don't know these things.
Hey, look. The bootmaker has a point. No one go anywhere. He kneels down and says, Father, please. And he looks up at you, Sir Earl, and says, what do you know about poisoning?
Oh, nothing at all, really.
And then he looks
Only
at...
that it can be put into food, and we were eating food, so...
And then he looks at Silvara. What about you? And she just shrugs and shakes her head nervously. He'll then, stand up and say, the Sylvanesty. I know it. They did this. They did this. They killed my father. And he
Does,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
well, do you? Is it really a good idea to jump to that conclusion? Maybe take a moment before you do something rash.
He looks at one of his guards and says, round up the wild ones. Anyone who would have been around the food. Round up the cooks. Round up the servants. Now. And then, yes, sire. And they start grabbing any nearby Kaganesti. And there, of course, there's, crying out in fear and in pain, and as they're dragging them away.
Where are you taking these people?
We have a place where we will interrogate them. No one will be hurt unless they need to be. The elves.
Definitely don't look pleased by that, but I refrain from taking any further action.
He looks at another one of his guards and says, anyone we don't know, bring to my cabin. We will interrogate them. Nods his head, goes off, and then he says, to you guys, I am sorry. This feast was supposed to be a celebration. You do understand that you are also newcomers here. I don't want to make a scene, but I would like you to go back to your cabin and have a talk with you.
Portheos, we've known each other for a very long time. I can assure you that none of those that are with me would be involved in something like this.
Roll a persuasion check.
Not that kind of room.
Maybe in another environment that may have worked. He says, Kurlithlan, I do not suspect you or your friends. That being said, I don't know them. And he's looking directly at you, Jadek, when he says that.
And Jadek feels it, and he's like looking at him.
But I need to ask some questions. I also noticed that you are the only ones wearing weapons to a dinner. As if you were looking for a fight or ready for one.
Considering the welcome we got and the way that we got here, ready for one is probably the way I'm feeling most of the time nowadays.
Understood. But I am asking you now. Don't make me tell you. Will you go back and have a talk?
That's fair.
And he nods. He looks at the two guards that escorted you here, and he says, bring them back to their cabin. I'll see to my father. And that's where we're going to take a little break.
I just want to point out that Jadek takes his plate of food and a pitcher of ale with him. To his...
Not worried about poison, I see.
Yeah, no, fingers crossed.
Well,
sure, it's
he's been
fine.
drinking it the entire time, so
He
he's
takes
got-
Solistrin's plate and looks down at his dead body. Are you going to eat this? No, I'm gonna take it. I'll take it with me. All right, so we are going to get ready for the drawing. So if you have not entered the drawing, now's your chance.
How did they
now,
do
because I don't
that,
want to wait
Adam?
anymore, I'm going to go. While we're waiting for anyone to type exclamation point drawing in there to win a $10 gift certificate to Drive Through RPG and or DM's Guild, let's talk about where you can find us. You can find us here at twitch.tv/Atomic Peanut Butter Group. That's new. Used to be Wicked Studios. But fuck that, Will's not here. So we changed it. You can find us on
He'll
YouTube.
be back probably.
Probably. We imagine. I don't know.
Maybe.
He's got a girlfriend now, so they'll be smooching under the bleachers. See, that is much better, Michael. You're right.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I think he's missed my Sunday game too the last few. So
he was
maybe
there
I
last
getting
time.
really
Last time he
serious.
was there, but he's missed a few before then. He's
Yeah, well,
really,
he got there late. That's what it was.
he did get there late. What an asshole.
Oh man.
Anyway, you can also find us on YouTube /Atomic Peanut Butter Group. You can find us on Facebook at Atomic Peanut Butter Group, but to be honest, there's not a lot of D&D stuff on there. If you want D&D stuff, go to Facebook /Giant Stomp, which is confusingly the Wicked Studios LLC page. And you can listen to us anywhere you listen to podcasts, except for, I don't think we're on Apple. No, we're on Apple Podcast. I don't think we're on Amazon Podcast yet. I got to look into that. We're on everything else. Spotify. What other podcast sites people listen to? We're on like 10 of them. So chances are, unless you're only listening to Amazon podcasts, we're there just by searching for DragonLance Chronicles until the cease and desist letter shows up.
Yeah, any day now.
Well, August 9th, I think? Or I think it's August 9th the new book comes out. And I'm really looking forward to that, guys.
August 10th will be the cease and desist day.
Yeah, pretty much. So whatever that following Friday is, you'll hear about the new name for our podcast. So anyway, let's pick the winner of the drawing. Bromenard wins again. That's
What?
3 in a row for Bromenard.
Yay!
Congratulations.
There's not going to be anything left on there for Bromenard to buy. So Bromenard, please, what do you call it? Message. I don't know how this fucking works, but like send one of those silent messages or secret messages or whatever it is they call it on Twitch to Atomic Peanut Butter Group. Your email address. We'll get it over to Will because he's still the only one who knows how to work this thing. Hope you got the other ones. I did tell him about it, and he did say he was going to do it, and hopefully that'll be the case. So, Bromenard, are you still here? First of all, I forgot to say that. Because you have to watch the stream to win the cash.
He was active in the chat a minute ago.
Yeah, he was. Now it's Giant Stomp Studios. No, it's not. Giant Stomp's never taken off, baby. It's never going to take off.
Maybe he went to the bathroom.
Yep, there he is.
There he is. Well, if you're watching your phone, you can bring it with you. Just, be careful because there's some germs involved there. You just got to wash your
there
hands,
are.
keep it away from the toilet. But anyway, guys, we
Don't
will.
drop it.
You got me with that one, Mike. With that, we will be right back, and don't drop your phones in the toilet while we're gone. And we're back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Atomic Peanut Butter presents Dragonlance: Dragons of Light Part 3? Question mark? I think it's 3. I don't think we've done more than 2 of these. Anyway, I'm going to set up another giveaway because why the fuck not, guys? We like the fact that you guys watch us and are only here to get your $10 drive-through RPG gift certificate. Except Bromanard's going to win, so why even bother playing? But type in exclamation point.
Bromanard's getting paid really nicely.
He is, yeah.
At this point, he's steady income.
He's making more on this stream than we are.
Yeah. That's not hard.
No, yeah, we make 0. We make just enough for Will to keep Zoom going. By the way, if you guys want to cheer and help keep us on Zoom, 100 bits will give any one of the players of your choice an inspiration point. 500 bits will give all of them exclamation points.
Wow, we get exclamation points?
Wow.
600 will, I'm just kidding. No, 500 will give them inspiration points.
The math really isn't working out.
It used to. It used to work out. Now there's fewer of us. So shut up, Michael.
Just
We're not here for math. We're here to get paid.
let me get out my blackboard. Today we're going to review the times table, multiplication.
There used to be more players. But we're keeping this to make it easy to remember, and because we need to keep Zoom going. And if you instead, if you want to cheer 500 bits, but do not want to give the players inspiration, but instead want to give your old friend Adam inspiration to use against them, you can do that too. Just type in "This is for Adam" to fuck them up. I mean, you don't have to put that part, but it would be cool if you did. So, anyway, exclamation point drawing. You can win a gift certificate to Drive-Thru RPG. You do need to be here when we call your name at the end of the stream. Why?
Do it, Adam. Do it, Adam. Come on. You know you want to.
You have to watch the stream to win the cash.
That's it.
Good job.
Yes, thank you. I did do a great job on that. Anyway, catch us here sometimes on Fridays, twitch.tv Atomic Peanut Butter Group, YouTube Atomic Peanut Butter Group, Facebook/Giant Stomp, or on podcast at Dragonlance Chronicles, wherever you listen to podcasts, unless it's Amazon Podcast, which I don't think we're on. And I don't know why. Our podcast host doesn't allow us to do that, I guess. But anyway, Amazon, if you'd like to be a sponsor, we would totally love to have you. So you guys are escorted back to your cabin after the untimely death of Solistrin, Speaker of the Sun, the Qualinesti Elves. You're there for a good hour by yourselves before there's a knock on the door. Is there anything you want to do in that hour or say in that hour?
Jadek polished off the food he brought and the pitcher of ale by himself.
And then is looking for like the room service menu.
Well, no, he shared the ale with which is the knight that's an alcoholic.
He's dead. Wow.
Oh, that's the dead one.
Yeah, he died.
That's the dead one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he has a few in his honor then.
He pours one out for for Aaron Talbot.
Just like that much.
Yeah, just a drop.
You'll understand. You will understand.
Yeah. And then he sucks it up off the carpet.
I'm going to ask Savara why she was not able to bring this guy back.
I don't have that kind of power.
I've seen it done before. I just...
Really? You've seen people bring people back from the dead?
Yes, I've seen it done before. It's quite amazing.
Yes. Yes, I imagine it would be. I apologize, I'm not that powerful.
No, no apology necessary. I'm not sure how many could really do that. So
How did they do it?
I'm not sure. I don't really understand it myself. So, but it was tiring. I know that, but I'm not sure what she had to do it. So.
I wish I could have helped. He seemed like a kind man. So, about an hour later, Portheos, the door opens. The guards are there. Portheos enters. The guards follow. They close the door behind him. The guards stay by the door. Portheos enters. Stands the entire time. And says to Kurlithan, he's speaking in common. I hope this is a formality, but you understand that I need to ask. Did any of you have anything to do with this? And he looks at, in this order, Jadok,
Who just points at his empty plate.
Silvara,
Does it look like I poisoned the food?
then Silvara, and then Sir Earl. He doesn't seem to be too suspicious of Kurlithan, Flint, or the Knights of Solamnia, although they're humans. He and don't have a great reputation nowadays. He feels that you would imagine poison would not be in their repertoire. You, cobbler.
Yes.
What
Are you in need of my? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Because if you're going to ask me if I needed new boots, the answer is no.
It's a common question.
Yeah. ABM, always be marketing. Did you have anything to do with my father's death?
No, I barely knew your father. I believe our first acquaintance was tonight, so.
Insight check. He believes you. He turns to Jadok. Minotaur. Did you have anything to do with my father's death?
He holds his ground, again, points at the empty plate of food. Like, does it look like I poisoned the food? I only met your father tonight. I had no quarrel with the man.
We all ate. We were all fine, except for my father. Insight check! He's a little on the fence about you.
Surprise, surprise.
You are a Minotaur. He's a little, and then he looks at Silvara and he said, "You, wildling, did you have anything to do with this?" And she just shakes her head, looking down at the floor. Insight check.
Ooh.
He looks at Kurlithan and he said, "Where did you find her?" As Kurlithan drinks his Bloody Mary. He's sitting.
Whoa.
He's lounging on a bed. He's got his head propped up on his arm, drinking a drink. Covered in
I brought a
furs.
picture back from East.
I'm sorry, you're talking to me?
Oh, I actually was not conscious when we found her.
Flint, where did
as
you meet
put it.
this one?
Oh Jesus, where did they meet up?
You met on the beach with the.
We met on the beach.
She was
that,
with the Sylvanas hunting
horrendous
group.
woman who was holding
right.
her prisoner.
That's the Earl challenge to a fist fight.
That's
that
right.
Sandcrest woman. No, we were trying to get to
Yes,
Sandcrest.
no, she's a Sylvanas woman, yeah.
Yeah.
Lady Marathanos. You haven't got,
Yes.
yeah, you're not quite at Sandcrest yet. You're still in Southern Urgoth. That's another island altogether.
Then, at any rate, she was a prisoner, a slave, more like it, of this Lady Marathanos, a noble elf bitch if I ever saw one. I hope she's not a relative of yours.
Marathanos.
But she cowardly ran away when I offered her the opportunity to prove herself, so I have no good impression of her.
He kind of does like one of those things that dogs do where he tilts his head a little bit trying to understand what it is you're talking about. And then says, Marathanos, Sylvanas. That's where
Yes.
that's where you pick this one up.
She was a prisoner of the Cur, yes.
A prisoner.
As were we.
And he looks over at her. Were you a prisoner? And she hesitates for a moment and then nods her head. Insight check. I'm just making these rolls because I like yelling out insight check.
I gathered.
6. He's not buying this at all. Because he's already suspicious. I'll need to take her with me. And he gestures to one of the guards to grab her and bring her out.
Take her where?
Exactly, where?
To be questioned further.
I believe in this setting is pleasant enough.
Fine. How did you come to be captured?
By
The Sylvan.
crashing.
I'm talking to her. And she says, they came, took everyone in the village. They made us work for them, or they would kill us. Insight check. All right, he's warming up. There is he does have a bonus to these insight checks, by the way. I just don't have his character sheet open. What are your thoughts on the Sylvanas people? And she thinks about that for a second and says, elves are inherently good, but that doesn't make them inherently kind. And from what I've seen, the Sylvanas are not inherently kind, not climbed. I don't know what that means at all. I'm a little nervous being under interrogation and with this group watching me like this. This is very uncomfortable. Insight check. He was believing it until she said "climbed" instead of "kind."
Isn't Klein like a German word or something? I swear I've heard
Klein
that.
is a last name.
Yeah.
So I guess if someone with the last name Klein like did something to you, like a good trash talk or something, they could just say, "You just been Kleined." Boom. That's what I imagine happens. I've never experienced it.
They say that about Kevin Kline all the time.
Oh, you just been Kleined. Boom.
I think that's his catchphrase.
It's on his business card and everything. Kevin Klein. So no, I guess he doesn't have a business card. He has a headshot. His headshot. Kevin Klein. You've just been Klein. That's how he signs
Exactly.
autographs.
Actually, that wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't be surprised me at all. Actors are weird. At that point, a knock on the door. One of the guards goes, opens it, a crack, looks in, whispers something in Elvish. Anybody want to make a perception check to see if you can make out what it is?
Sure.
Yeah, Chadwick will.
Wow. 25 and a 22. You guys can both read lips. And this guy has great enunciation, too, by the way. That really helps with lip reading. He says, we need Porthios. I mean the speaker. I think we found them. And the guard nods his head, leaves the door cracked open, walks over to Porthios, whispers in his ear. The same thing. You guys got really high rolls. You can hear this guy. No one is quiet enough for you guys. And then Porthios looks at the rest of you and he says, I'm sorry that I had to do this. Have a good evening. And he sort of turns on his heel and walks out the door. His guards following. The door.
So who was the villain then?
The door closes, and you hear a click of
That
the
was
lock
rude.
being. Come on, you can't just leave us hanging. It is now nighttime. You are locked up, safe and sound. Good for you.
Hey,
Yeah.
So is there a facilities in this suite of rooms, or
It's
is it about to get really messy?
it's. Well, you tell me how messy it gets. There is not a there's not a separate commode. There are places where you can poop when needed. But it is one big room. And by big,
Yeah.
it's big enough to hold all of you, but, you know, not
I think
a lot.
Chadwick would be the first to knock on the door to the guards, like, hey, I got to take a leak. Hey.
There are
We can
chamber
establish a pee corner.
there are chamber pots inside, he says.
I am a Minotaur. I don't think you want me doing that in here.
Bullshit, he says.
Exactly.
That was too easy.
I'm surprised it took us this long to get to that joke, Cam.
Yeah, well, no.
But it did. We made it. We got there.
It's all about timing.
I'm glad we got there too. I have no regrets.
But yeah, he's definitely.
They're not
Looking
going to
to-
let you out. You have those chamber pots, and there are a few of them. It's not like there's one, but
Are there windows?
there's a window. It's not small enough to exit and enter through, but you can open it and dump a chamber pot out of if you wanted to.
All right. Fine.
That's not specified in the module, so I'm kind of just giving you this.
Thanks.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't think Douglas Niles, no, Jeff Grubb, rather, who wrote this, was thinking that there would be such an extensive situation about peeing and pooping.
Well, that's just bad writing.
I mean, he knew his audience was like teenagers, right?
I guess not.
Yeah.
I guess not. I mean, it's a good question. Especially with that many of you in this hut.
Yeah.
Again, there is also a hole up top 20 feet, so some of the stink will air out. But yeah, you might want to pop that window open when you go. Especially with how much Jadek has had to eat and drink tonight.
Exactly.
Like tomorrow morning, it's going to be a literal shit show, guys.
All right. So
I can keep
night
going. Are we
comes.
just when do we want to move on? We're going. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll move on. We'll move on.
Please.
We'll move on. Are you going to go to bed?
I mean, we really don't have much of an option. We can't leave. We can't really sneak out. And it really wouldn't be wise of us to like try to break out and while all this is happening. Wouldn't look good for us.
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to set a watch? Or you just going to go to bed? Go to bed.
I mean, I think there's enough of us that it makes sense to just go ahead and have someone.
Yeah, there's like 30 of you.
We'll have all the
Stay
knights
alert.
take their turn at watch. They're good at that.
Yeah, NPCs are
Yeah.
great at watching.
That's true. Yes.
Well, we're gonna make them be up in like shifts of 3, though. I don't care if they have to rotate more than once.
Yeah.
Alphasian can join in too. He's effectively an NPC at this point. Yeah, you do. You go to sleep with no issue.
Do we get a full night's rest?
Yes,
Hey.
and you get the benefits of a full night rest. You are not interrupted at all. Alphasian somehow loses hit points, like max hit points, which is also weird, but nobody cares enough to ask about it. But he now has 10 hit points total. 1 for each level. Just because Will's not here, and I'm vindictive. The morning comes. The guards unlock the door and say that you have a free reign of Qualamori. However, do not leave the city. And if you do,
Well, that's ominous.
I'll shoot you. And that guy says, "Stop with that cowboy routine. It doesn't work here with this group." And he's like, "But I read this book." And like, no, just it's weird. Nobody knows nobody understands that you're joking, and they don't know what to think of it. And then they walk off, having this conversation. That's all you hear.
Yeah, that was weird.
Anything you want to do? Anybody you want to talk about during the day?
Jadek is definitely starting to get a little restless. He doesn't like being locked up because he's usually the captain of his ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
likes
not
to-
real thrilled with this either.
he likes
but I
to
do
be-
want to try to figure out what happened, I guess. Start asking, and not like subtly either. I'm going to walk right up to a likely group of guards and ask what the hell happened. If they don't know, I'll move on to the next group until someone eventually tells me something. The maid cleaning the table, it doesn't matter who they are.
Roll an investigation check.
Investigation check. All right. I got to get my character sheet open to do that.
Sorry, we've only been playing for 2 hours.
Yes.
I didn't mean to spring this on you so quickly.
I'm not sure if that's more of an indictment of you or Michael.
A little from column A, a little from column B.
Yeah.
Mostly from column A, which is the me. 10. It takes you some time.
Yeah, I'm persistent though. So.
Yeah. And you do find a maid, another Kaganesti. And Silvara has been hanging out with you, staying close by. Well, are the rest of you all hanging out with him while he's interrogating the citizens of Qualinesti, or are you doing other things, just out of curiosity?
I was planning on, figuring out where Portheos is and going straight to him to figure out what's happening.
All right, and Kamchan? Jadek?
So, I'm confused. Are we still locked up? Or
No,
are we out?
they unlocked the doors and said you have the
They
free
did.
reign of Qualamori. Because I know you're
Okay.
used to the wide open spaces of a ship, of a medieval
Right.
ship. So being locked up in here has got to really be uncomfortable for you. Yeah.
It is. It is uncomfortable. He's definitely like kind of exploring a little bit, checking out different. If there's something of a social life in town, that's what he's checking out.
Okay. There is like a city center kind of thing where there's and there are inns and although I mean they're taverns, I should say, not inns, because nobody is staying here.
Right.
But there are some taverns. There's some entertainers. There's bards and minstrels and
Sure.
jugglers and
So
stuff like
Jadek's
that.
bar hopping.
Okay. There's 2 bars. So you just keep going from one to the other, and they're across the street from each other too. Yeah, so it's easy to get to.
2 different drinks.
Yeah.
Back to the place, 2 different drinks.
Cyril, you are able to gather eventually from a Kaganesti servant that it seems like from what they've heard that there was a spy in a Sylvanesti spy here who the rumor is has been slowly poisoning Solistrin's food, but doesn't really know any more than that. That's just the word around town.
Well, I thank the person, whoever they were, profusely for sharing what they knew.
Okay. And then Kurlathlon, you're looking for Porthios. Now, there are plenty of elves who saw you guys at that the table that Solistrin was sitting at during the feast. They know that you guys are some sort of important people, other because you were not imprisoned. You were well, I mean, you were in a way just you were nicely imprisoned instead of imprisoned. Like people would think that you would be, considering who you are. Non-elves. And they're fairly willing to talk to you. Is Flint with you, or you're on your own?
Probably.
Okay. So they do tell you where Porthios would probably be, and it is actually in Solistrin's previous chambers, since he is now Speaker of the Suns.
Right. Okay, yeah, we head over there.
You head over there. After you tell the guards that you're here to see Porthios, and they go and check to see if it's okay for them to let you in. A couple minutes later, they come back. They let you and Flint in, and you're brought to the same chamber that you originally came to, that had this long oak table with Solistrin, Porthios, Lady Okara, and Theros were sitting at when you first got to Qualamori. The room is empty, and they say, "Please wait here, and the speaker will be with you shortly." As you wait a little bit, Lorana comes out first. And she is certainly cleaned up from the ordeal where she did come very close to dying, as did you, Curly. So you still don't look super hot either, but it doesn't look like she has slept at all. It's like she looks very weak, ill, really. Very pale. And just sad.
I say, Lorana, I can't tell you how sorry I am about your father.
Thank you. It's been It's been a rough 24 hours. Portheos is making arrangements for my father's funeral. He'll be here shortly, but I wanted to come out and talk to you. Please don't relay this conversation to him. And I'm coming to you as a friend, not as the former speaker's daughter and the current speaker's sister. Gilthanis, and she stops for a minute, and her, tears well up in her eyes, and she takes a minute to collect herself. And she says, her voice breaking still a bit, but holding it together. All Gilthanis wanted was peace. He risked his life for Ansalon, for Kryn. And I'm afraid that he may have died in vain. And I don't know much about this. I haven't been here long, and truth be told, I haven't really been very keen on talking to people since I've been here, but from what I've heard from Portheos and from others, from my father, from Lady Okara, from the servants, things between the elves are bad. I don't know how we can win this war and bring all of the races together against the dragon armies if the elves won't stop fighting themselves. And this... And again, she stops for a moment, collects herself. If it's true, and it seems like it is, that the Sylvanesti killed my father, I fear that war is coming between the Sylvanesti and the Qualinesti, and the Kaganesti caught in the middle.
Well, it seemed like your brother was ready to declare war last night already.
Yes, well, you know Portheos.
What reason would the Sylvanesti have to kill your father, though?
I don't know.
What would they gain
An
by killing the
excuse?
Speaker of the Suns?
Maybe? I don't know. I don't know.
I agree with you. A war between the elves is the last thing that our world needs right now. You've seen you've seen what we're up against, and does Portheos understand
I don't know.
what's coming for everyone?
I think he and all of the elves are blinded by their distrust for each other. The Kinslayer Wars, well, as long ago as they were, hundreds of years ago. I mean, no one is even still alive from that time, but the wounds are still there. They have not healed. I know the importance of getting the dragon orb to Sancrist. I hope that there is someone there that can help. I think if I can help you escape from here, because make no mistake, you are prisoners, as am I. If I can help you escape, you need to get the orb and the lance to someone who can help us figure this out, help destroy the armies, and I would come with you, but without Gil here, I need to help Portheos stop this course of action, to see the greater good. And I don't know if I can do it. My father still hasn't. Well, and she stops for a second. Even before he died, he wouldn't talk to me. I haven't gotten a chance to even say hello to him, let alone goodbye. But I can't let Portheos go to war against our people. And I need him to understand that by our people, I mean the good people of Krynn. Not just the elves. Not just the Qualinesti. It'll be dangerous. I know.
If you're telling me that Portheos will not let us leave of our own free will,
Not right now.
then yes, escape would be the only option. However, Theros is going to have to come with us.
I spoke to Theros. He came to see me before the feast. He, more than anyone, filled me in on the animosity between the Sylvanesti and the Qualinesti. It is he that I'm thinking of that can help you escape.
All right.
Tell the others to be ready tonight. As I don't know how long we can wait.
I don't think there's any reason for us to be waiting longer than tonight.
And I will do everything that I can to stop Portheos from sending guards out to find you, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that. As it is, he no longer even thinks of me as his sister.
Are you sure you're going to be safe here?
She looks down for a second. And for a moment, you can sort of see that the child, right? I mean, she's older because she's an elf, but the fact that teenager that you met when she first rashly followed Zarek out of Qualinesti into this thing, and she's changed a lot during this time, matured a lot. And for a minute, you see that girl, and then she collects herself, and she stands up straight and tall, and looks you in the eyes and says, I am Laura Lanthalasa Kanan. I always fuck up her last name and want to call her Kaylin, because that's my daughter's name. Laura Lanthalasa Kanan, daughter of the Speaker of the Suns. And then she smiles a bit. I'll be okay.
Or she will.
And then she says, and I will see you again. And she gives both you and Flint a big hug. Separately, not like a group hug, because that would be weird. Because he's very short.
Yeah.
Shortly after, Portheos enters. You wanted to see me, and then he looks over at Lorana, and then looks back at you without saying a word.
Seems that you found who did this.
It appears so. Sylvanasi spy.
How were they here? How were they within your city?
There are hundreds of us. And by hundreds, I mean thousands. A lot of fucking elves, he says.
But you're sure it was an agent of the Sylvanesti who did this?
Yes. We have... I'm sorry, I couldn't do it with a straight face. We have ways of making them talk. Still couldn't quite get it out. I'm sorry. I tried so hard.
Suddenly the qualities sound German.
So we are as certain as we can be.
And what do you plan to do now, then?
What else is there to do but war?
Portheos, we're already at war. You're already at war, even if you don't know.
No, I am aware. I left my homeland, and that's why I am here. The Sylvanesti, though, they don't understand. They killed
Make
my
them
father.
understand.
They killed my
And
father.
I'm sorry for your father's loss. I knew your father. You know this. You cannot let a new war start that will just doom everyone. Because without the elves on the side fighting against the dragon armies, we have no chance. The world has no chance. So if you can at all, slow down a bit and think if there might be another option than killing your men, theirs, and any hope the world has.
Roll a perception check with advantage, because that was a good speech. $28. Did I say perception? I meant persuasion.
You did say perception, you meant persuasion.
Yeah.
Huh?
Because-
Okay. I'm not nearly as good as that.
12.
12.
It's not bad. I mean,
you know.
it's no 28. He stops, and you can see that he thinks about that for a second. And then he says, "Is this what you came to talk to me about?"
And to tell you that we have things that we need to do to continue trying to fight the dragon armies, regardless of what you end up doing with your war.
Yes. You're asking to leave.
I'm asking if you will let us. or are we prisoners?
You have to understand how delicate the situation is here.
We don't want to interfere in this situation. We need to get to Sancris.
But you can get in the way.
Anything can get in the way, Porpheus.
My people.
Are we prisoners or not?
For now, yes. My people don't trust you. They don't trust humans. They don't trust minotaurs. They don't trust dwarves. They certainly don't trust Kender. And then he looks up. What happened to my dagger?
I think Flint at this point would be like, if you don't trust us, why have us around? Let us go.
It's not entirely up to me.
That's just an excuse.
I've been in this... Yes, maybe it is. I'll be honest. I did not expect to be thrust into this role this soon. I've been preparing for it my whole life, yes, but I'm not prepared. Lady Okara. She has convinced many of the advisors, and by which I mean it spread to many of the elves, that you cannot be trusted. She doesn't understand why you left with her sons and didn't come back. I get it, I know. Curlithlon, I know you, I trust you. Flint, I know you since I was a boy, and you were selling wooden toys here in Qualinesti. But I need to think of my people. And I am sorry, and as soon as I can figure out a way to turn this around, yes, you are prisoners. And I cannot let you go. And with this now, with my father dying, suspicions are among the people are even greater.
I think Flint would look at him and be like, you say you know us. If you know us, you trust us. You trust the people we're with. We wouldn't allow untrustworthy people around us. We have our own mission to accomplish for the greater good. Your vision right now is very narrow. We're looking beyond that. Let us go. You deal with what you need to do. Let us deal with what we need to do. We won't be in your way. We don't want to be in the way. Let us go and carry on with our own mission.
Roll a persuasion check. Gary, you can roll a perception check because you're good at those. It's not going to do anything, but you can just roll one.
I'm going to roll it anyway. Yeah.
This is fun. Look at that, double 27s. You're great at these. You notice he has a little bit of a whitehead right here on his chin. And you really want to pick it.
On Flint's
what is persuasion? Is that charisma? Charisma.
Yeah. Charisma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Four.
Oh, geez.
And that's with advantage is the 4. I didn't say advantage, but I meant advantage. And you did roll twice. And he looks and he says, my responsibility is to the elven people. The Qualinesti people is what I should have said originally, not elven, because there's 3 factions here. Not including the ones under the sea, but we don't talk about them. Because they're none of my business.
Under the sea.
And then a crab comes out and starts singing. And it's super
Kick
weird.
away, quick to the side.
And then he says, don't make this any more difficult than it needs to be. When the time is right, I will let you go, but now is not the time.
We're all running out of time. And you're just... Flint kind of shakes his head. He's like, you're not thinking straight. I know you say you weren't ready for this, but here you are in this position, making things harder than it needs to be. Let us go. Forget about us. We won't be here. We don't want to be here.
If I let you go, Lady Okara will cause further division within the Qualinesti. I can't have a divide between the people of Qualinesti. We need to be together, not apart in this. Not now.
Well, it seems you've made your mind up.
I have no
We
choice.
will be model prisoners, Orpheus.
Insight check. It's been a few minutes since I did that. Let's see what he gets.
Yeah.
2.
You're gonna put extra guards on us now that you said that.
That means he believes you.
Not with that inside check.
Yeah, no, yeah, because yeah, he actually believes you. That was such a bad roll. In the scenario,
And I put my hand on Flint's shoulder and say, "Let's leave him to his war."
and you
Flint
leave.
grumbles something in Dwarven.
Yeah,
It's like, right.
and he turns and he walks past Lorana, and because we know that if Kurlathlon rolled a perception check, he would get like a 400. So he doesn't even need to roll for this anymore. You maybe turn back as you walk out the door, as you see Porthios walking to the other door to go further into the chambers, and he stops there for a second and just drops his head and then takes a deep breath, walks to the door, closing it behind him, leaving Lorana there alone. Anything else anybody wants to do during the day?
I think while Jadek was doing his bar hopping, he was just trying to get a feel of the local gossip.
Okay.
Of course, I'm sure nobody would actually talk to him, but he would
No.
keep his ear out and
Yeah.
just kind of get the feel of what the local people are saying,
Sure.
and try to gather information that way.
Roll an investigation check. Double sevens. That would be great if you were shooting crabs. I think. I'm always very intimidated by crabs. So I've never played. Blackjack I love, but crabs intimidate the shit out of me. That's what you hear. With that 7. I'm not joking. That is what you hear.
Makes sense.
Yeah, with that roll. I will say that you can tell that everybody seems to be on edge. That's why they're drinking a lot.
Curlywood would want to at least try to fill up some more arrows and other supplies, if at all possible, since we have free reign of the town.
Sure.
But then again,
How would you like to go about doing that?
well, there's a shop of some kind.
Sure.
They've got 2 bars. You gotta have a shop.
2 bars, 1 shop. Yeah, there are some shops, and no one will sell to you.
Oh.
Fair enough. I tried.
You
Okay.
can steal some.
Nah,
You're not that kind of rogue.
not that kind of road.
We haven't heard that in a while. All right. And
Throughout the day, I would actually like to also spend some time trying to locate, some supplies, equipment, anything else that we might be able to acquire, purchase,
yeah, no one will sell anything to you.
spare food.
Yep. No. There's food at the cabin, so that could be fed, but they won't. Nobody will sell anything to you.
Pillowcases,
Nope.
sacks, blankets.
What is this, like a prison yard? You're gonna put some
Tie
rocks,
things into
some
a
stone.
rope.
You're like cracking the walls, putting the pieces in the pillowcase.
You get a poster about Derek.
Wait, we got a raid, which I didn't see. Thank you for Agora Quest for raiding with a party of 7. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Hey!
And I have no idea when you did that. My Streamlabs, if you'd like to be a sponsor, we'd love to have you. Hasn't been working great, and I did not see that pop up, and nor do I see the chat, so I keep having to look into my phone, which I'm not really doing, but it looks like it just happened. Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us on Atomic Peanut Butter Presents DragonLance, Dragons of Light, Part 3. What part is this? 1, 2, 3. 3 parts. And during this time too, Sir Earl, Silvara has been asking you, questions about yourself and, and where you come from and that kind of thing. Not a lot, but because she's very quiet, but every once in a while she'll, just sort of, pepper with you things. She's interested in your sister, since you've spoken about her and her abilities to heal, because that's not certainly a common thing here on Kryn, let alone Southern Urgoth. And while she has this ability that she said has been passed down from generation to generation in her family, it's still not super common, especially because you've mentioned that your sister has brought people back from the dead, which is a super cool thing to do.
Well, it's not common among the ice folk either, which is the people that I come from. But my sister was always a little bit special, and I'm not sure how she developed or achieved her abilities. She attributes it to Paladine or something to that nature.
I call it Paladine. I think most Dragonlance people call it Paladine, but fuck them.
Really, I always went with Paladine.
Me too.
Well.
This is an E in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I've heard Paladine a lot. But no. Yeah,
That would be like Paladin, Paladine.
or Deen.
Oh yes, there
Or
you go.
Dean even.
Paladine, there you go.
But anyway, I like to call it Paladine, and I'm the DM, so Paladine it is. That's
Really, there's not a whole lot to say. Average ice folk.
Roll me a perception check. Average ice folk.
Just an average, ordinary ice folk.
7. Well, you got the perception of an average ice folk. Or a below average ice folk, I guess I should say, with that 7. Yeah, if this were a Telltale video game, Sir Earl did not notice that would come across the top of the screen. But yeah, so that's kind of the conversation that she has with you. Again, very sparse because she's very quiet. There is a drawing tonight. Stardusty _ colon. I don't know. This is very small. It's hard for me to read. I'm old. But yeah, exclamation point drawing for a $10 gift certificate to Drive Through RPG and or DM's Guild. And if you're there when we pick your name at the end of the stream, you win. If you're not there, we're going to keep picking until we get somebody who is there. Why? Because you have to watch the stream to win the cash.
Did you mean to close the drawing?
No, that must have done that by itself. Is it closed?
It is.
That's what it says. Just as you were announcing how to enter it, it closed.
Yeah.
Wow.
How do you?
So if you could reopen it for those people who are now trying to enter it.
I'm gonna. Oh fuck. There's no way to do this without doing it. So the answer is no. There is no.
Wow.
For anybody new, because I can either cancel it, which would get rid of everybody's. And I don't know if everybody. Well, yeah. You know what? Fuck it.
They have to be here.
They have to be here to win the
win.
cash. So we're canceling this one and we're gonna set up a new one. I'm confirming this, motherfucker. I'm talking to my monitor. That's why I'm looking over in this direction in an aggressive tone. You know what? I used the wrong one because there's a timer on here. So now everybody, please, and it's in the chat so you can see. But everyone now type exclamation point drawing to be entered and or re-entered into the drawing.
Even if you were entered, you need to enter
You
it
got to
again.
do it again. If you were entered before, then sorry. Life sucks, man. You got to do it again. This is what life is about. Doing repetitive things for the chance of getting some sort of benefit in life. And most of the time you fail, unless you're Bromenard, who wins at life all the time. All the time. And now Stardusty. I know it's Stardust. I'm just fucking with you. But Stardusty _ is it a comma? What the fuck? You got a different name every time I look at this. Or I'm going blind. I am nearsighted,
You
so
are old.
I feel like I am old. It's true. I'm not as old as you, though.
And yet I look so much better.
You look great. You really look good. You're a good-looking man. All right, where were we?
I don't know.
You're going back to the
We were
cabin.
playing
We were
some game
plotting
or
our
something. and-
What, a game? We're too old to be playing games. I don't think any of us look our age, though. Put it in the chat. Do you think we look our age? How old do you think? Let me do this. How old do you think we are?
Oh, it's a dangerous game.
Individual. What do we care? I have no pride.
65.
Well, I was 66 to today. Happy birthday to me. It's not my birthday, really. Anyway, type in the chat. How old do you think each of us are?
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yes.
All right.
I don't know if they're going to
Let's
do
get
it.
back to
but
the game.
People are
Let's
too
get
nice
Yeah.
to do these things.
Please.
I think we're plotting our escape. That's what we're doing.
Well, we're going back to await our escape, which has been plotted for us conveniently.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to find, some, things, some resources, some materials
Yeah,
for
they
us to
wouldn't sell to
escape
you.
with, but other than collecting food, there's not even like blankets in our hut or anything.
Yeah, no,
huh?
there's blankets and stuff, yeah.
Okay. Well, then, in that case, I would spend some time sewing together a large sack,
Okay. Now,
put
what-
in
yeah,
as
you're
many
s-
rations as look usable, and I
Okay.
do have my cobbler's tool,
You
so it
do.
might not be a great sack, but
Yeah,
it will
but
be.
it's a sack. Yeah, they keep restocking the minibar, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah.
All right, excellent.
Right.
Now I'll also put in there, some extra blankets and some pillows and whatever else that looks like it's not nailed down, and would be useful.
You're worse than the Kender. Yeah, okay. So you do that. Night comes. Now they do bring you dinner and stuff like that. Room service to your. They bring you a bottle of champagne, but no ice. The ice machine on the floor isn't working, so it
No,
gets warm
man.
pretty. You got to drink it fast. But what savages these elves are! A warm Dom Perignon.
You mean I gotta drink this coffee hot?
Oh, Gary almost did a spit take on that one.
So close.
All right. So some of you eat, some of you stuff your food into a sack, homemade sack.
I also eat, but yeah.
You nibble. Oh wow! Hold on, I got to read this one. Star Dusty says, "If we were going by Will's pick, I would say 65." First of all, that's probably close for Will. I know how old Will is. That's not really his age, but I'm just making fun of him because he's not here. But don't judge all of us by Will's picture. We're not quintuplets.
No.
In fact, none of us are related.
I feel
I
like
don't
we're
care.
all related through that spiritual relationship that brings all humans together.
Oh my god.
I don't. What,
They're
so
all
what do you
bound together
think
by the
that?
fabric of life.
Yeah. What do you
Sure.
think that line makes? How old do you think that line makes Michael? Like that's. I mean, that's a rough one. That's like a. I feel like that's somewhere California, 1968, 1969, somewhere in that area. So I'm guessing Michael's 74.
Yeah.
I also know how old Michael is. He's not 74. He's 75.
17 tomorrow.
17 tomorrow.
Lived a rough life.
In human or elven years. Oh, don't give us elven years. It's sad enough in human years, Bromanard. Come on, man. That's not cool. I guess in elven years, we're probably like 4. So, yeah, I guess go elven years. Elven years, yeah. I'm thinking of dog years. I went backwards.
No, you had it right the first time. In elven years, we would be like, thousands of years old,
Yeah.
based
no.
on what we look like.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I want to be 1,000 years old. That'd be awesome.
1,000 years old. Sure, you'd say that's old. 1,000 years old. But what do you know? They might be giants. Anybody besides Gary? Come on. Oh, one person got it. I'm really just here to entertain Gary.
Yeah, that's good.
Doesn't look a day over 80. I'm assuming you're still talking about Will. Otherwise, that's just a dick thing to say, Stardusty. Maybe you're mad because I keep mispronouncing your name. But you're being crueler. And it hurts. It hurts my heart. Alright, so you're in bed. Or in the cabin. I don't know what you're doing. You're probably not in bed. That's weird if you're waiting for escape.
No, Jadik definitely came back to the cabin, told everybody what he overheard, which apparently wasn't much, but more of a general feel that everybody's on edge,
Yeah.
and then proceeded to pass out.
Well, and Flint and I fill everyone in on the fact that there is an actual plan to escape tonight.
Yeah, you gotta
And
keep smacking Janik in the face to wake him up.
You can't sleep, Janik.
Ah, damn it. Fine.
Actually, now would be a good time to catch an hour or two of rest. That way you're more alert later.
Yeah.
And with that, he passes out.
All right. We'll wake you up when we're ready to go.
All right. A few hours go by. It's middle of the night. After midnight, the witching hour. And a rope drops down from the hole in the ceiling. If you look up, do you look up? Or do you ignore the rope?
Just pull.
And it drops to the ground. It was a ruse.
No. Yes, look up.
You look up and you see Theros. And he says, "Come with me if you want to live." I couldn't do it without laughing again. Because that wasn't what he was supposed to say, but I just thought of it right now and I thought it'd be funny. He says,
Janik looks at Carl like, you know this guy? You know this? You know what this is?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
everybody roll me an acrobatics check.
Hell no! I got my gloves of climbing.
Oh,
also,
yeah.
I'm
You
going
can also
to
levitate.
I'm gonna put the boots back on Flint.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow. It takes some time for.
Well, I'm still collecting foods and pillowcases and.
Janik and Sir Earl are kind of just trying to climb over each other unsuccessfully to get
No,
to the
me
rope.
first. No, me first.
And eventually, Theros just shakes his head and says, "Just tie the rope around you and we'll pull you up." And they do that for both of you. And you're at the top of the roof, and he says, "I've knocked out the guards. Whatever the medieval version of chloroform is what I used. I invented chloroform."
It's an interesting name. All right.
I call it that. It's working title. I'm still workshopping it. I don't know if it's going to
Named
stick.
after your grandfather, right?
Yes. His
Glory.
name. Yes, his name was Chloroform Ironfeld.
Why did you name a knockout drug after your grandfather?
He was kind.
Because that's what he did. He knocked people out.
He was kind of the
No.
He was the Bill Cosby of the family.
Oh,
We don't condone that, but we loved him anyway. He was a great grandfather otherwise. As long as you weren't a man and related to him. Because even unrelated men, he would still chloroform fuck you up, literally. It was it was awful. I'm regretting calling it this. Let's call it knockout juice. My uncle Rufy from an art says. In chat. Oh, I feel like we've done as much damage as we can do tonight. So you get to the top of this. He's roofied. Wow, this took a dark turn. He's roofied the two guards. Their pants are down. I'm just kidding. That didn't really. I'm just kidding. Yikes. Twitch, if you'd like to be a sponsor, we'd love to have you. Let's pick a winner.
So, in summary, we've all escaped.
Sort of. You haven't. Well, yes. We will say that you escaped. You've actually been able to get yourself out of Qualamori, into the woods. Theros thinks that. Well, do me a favor. Everybody, roll me a the stealth check.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah, those are good rolls. 16, 18, 14, and I'm not going to make you roll for all the NPCs. We'll just use the main characters stuff. But yeah, with those rolls, you are able to escape Qualamori in the cover of darkness. You get to the woods. Theros says, we have maybe 6, 8 hours tops before they realize you're gone and they follow us. Where should we go?
Well, there's that city we're trying to get to, right?
You're trying to get to Sankrist, which is a different island. But
We need a boat.
you need
Get a boat.
you need to go north to get
So
there.
let's head north.
So north it is. And that's where we will end tonight's session, thankfully, before I do more Bill Cosby jokes. Before we go, let's close the entries, and I don't know how many people actually... You know what? Bromenard, I know, was in there. He had 4 tickets. He's won 3 out of the last 3 drawings we've had, so it's going to be hard to feel too bad for him if he didn't get in this drawing this time. But let's pick the winner! Guess who it is?
Tell me it's Promenade.
It's Bromenard.
Oh my god. Is there anybody else in this drawing? Is there anybody else?
I saw at least one other person.
Yeah, Stardust was in there.
I believe it's Stardust E. Well,
Agree to
Bromenard,
disagree.
huzzah!
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 Bromenard, I believe, now has, with all of the gift certificates he's won, has controlling interest of DM's Guild and Drive Through RPG. And 4 out of the last 4 now, yes, that's true. So, again, shoot your email to the Atomic Peanut Butter Group, Whisper, whatever that's called, on Twitch. If you'd like to be a sponsor, we'd love to have you. So I can get that over to Will, because he doesn't actually keep anybody's email addresses. Or so he says. We have no proof of this. He's not even here. Look at him. Look at that mustache. You can't trust a man who has a mustache and glasses and a hair. And what is that? Is that a necklace? And a lime?
Actually, email address is all he needs to get everything he needs to know about you.
If it's anybody other than Will, I would say yes. But no one with a lime green tank top like that from 1994 has any idea how to hack anything. I'm guessing. I also know Will, and I've known him for a number of years now, and I have no confidence in his hacking skills. At all. He can't even show up to play a game. Anyway, guys, join us.
Because he's hacking the planet.
Holy shit, maybe he is. That devious son of a bitch. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us on D&D Fridays for Atomic Peanut Butter Group presents DragonLance : DragonLance. Yes. Take 2. This is the second time I fucked up the intro, and now it's the outro. What do you think of that? Thank you for joining us on D&D Friday for Atomic Peanut Butter Group presents DragonLance : Dragons of Light, Part 3. I would raid into somebody. If somebody could tell me in the chat who I should raid into. Is somebody take a look. Is Darling Creepshow still on? We often go into them. Check that out. You can watch us most. This is the first time we've played DragonLance.
Yeah.
Darling Creepshow is online.
All right, so I will go to Darling Creepshow after this, so stick around. But anyway, thank you for hanging out with us. On Fridays, you can either see DragonLance, or you can see Eberron, More Graves Mythos. More Grave Mythos? There's not an S.
More grave.
More
mythos.
Grave Mythos. You think I'd know this? I play in the game. That's a lot of fun, Gary. I'm enjoying this game.
Oh, good. I'm enjoying it as well.
Good. I'm glad. We're in agreement on one. This is the first time we've ever agreed on anything in the 25
Really? I know.
year. No,
I know.
more than 25 years.
I don't keep track of
It's our 25th reunion from college this year.
Oh boy.
That's how.
Are you guys going down?
By the way, guys, if you're putting the over under on how old we are in chat,
Yeah, there you go.
there's
some
a
good
hint.
info right there.
Yeah. And obviously, I knew you before we graduated, since we went to college together. We were
Right.
roomies.
Yes, we were.
Not originally, but we moved in because we had terrible roommates individually. So we moved in together and had a great
Oh, I had horrible college roommates.
Yeah, mine was just shy of horrible. By which I
Mine
mean,
was horrible.
let's say hi to Gaz. No, I'm talking about you. I'm kidding. Gary's a great roommate. We had a great time. So anyway, guys, thank you for hanging out with us. You can check us out on Fridays at twitch.tv/Wicked Studios LLC, YouTube/Atomic Peanut Butter. Did I say Wicked Studios? Man.
You did.
It's only the second time we've just changed our brand, so ignore me. You can find us, Take Two, on twitch.tv/Atomic Peanut Butter Group. YouTube.
Is this like take 6?
This is a new one. This is a new
Oh,
take.
Stop
altogether.
distracting him. Just let
It's a
him
new
finish.
scene. It's a new scene. Atomic Peanut Butter Group YouTube. I did it backwards, but you get the idea. Facebook/Giant Stomp. Why? Who the fuck cares at this point? And you can catch us on podcast wherever you listen to podcasts at DragonLance Chronicles. So, for Gaz, Kemchan, Michael, and Wool.Player, who once again couldn't bother to be here, I'm Adam, saying, be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And we will see you next time on DragonLance. And I'm saying it like this because I got to put the end credits on. And I will raid to Darling Creep Show very soon. So stick around and see what they're up to. Bye. Hey guys, I'm back. Just to let you know, I'm
Psych.
trying to rate it to Darling Creep Show, but there's something wrong with my Streamlabs. If you'd like to be a sponsor, we'd love to have you. And it's not, the chat doesn't work, so it's not letting me get in there. So we're not going to be rating into anybody, but if anybody happens to go into the Darling Creep Show game, which they're probably playing right now, just type in this chat that Atomic Peanut Butter Group tried to raid into you, but couldn't. Good night!